So, I'm just gonna spitball a few thoughts about the fleet research system. There's a lot to say about the fleet system as a whole, but that's its own can of worms, and nobody's really talking about the fleet research, I find. Probably because it takes forever to grind out. So, it's been a few patch notes since full release, and since full release, and especially the fleet system, is being heavily adjusted, everything is likely to change. I hope it does. Primarily, I'm interested in this video about the 3 new fleet system items from the fleet research, which unlocks at fleet level 10. So, bottom line, the first and third items are essentially useless, and the second item is broken. Not in a bad way, it's just far outweighs the other items. So the first item given at level 2 is the rowboat launch. This basically puts little lifeboats on these sides of your ship, which you can deploy by interacting with them. So this spawns a rowboat, which you can use, which is identical to the one we all had at the start of the game. And it's about as useless as you can imagine, except for roleplay or something, because our water mobility is already really good to begin with. I guess it could be a sort of diving platform for like diving spots, but why even bother with positioning this thing when you could just move your boat or regen stamina on the ocean floor? And also, as of this current version, there is a bug where this boat counts as your boat. So when it sinks, and it will with 350 health, you'll lose everything in your storage, if you had any. And I found that out the hard way. So, though it is useless functionally, you should always run it because it's a free defense boost and stability boost. 350 each, 5% stability each, so that's a pretty substantial boost if you have all 4 equipped on your brig. That's pretty cool. So the second item they give you at level 3 is the Fleet Raven. Although it's the most broken, I don't really have much to say about it. It's very simple conceptually. It's an item which you can use to remotely send fleet commands to your commanders, much like you would if you met them on islands. This is super useful because now you don't have to sail like to the opposite end of the map to restock your fleet, which, lets you be more risky with how you manage your fleet. It has infinite uses and no cooldown or penalty, so it's a straight upgrade, as if the system didn't need to be abusable enough. Massive quality of life improvement, and well worth the many hours it takes, in my opinion, unlike the other 2 items. So, the last item as of 1.20.12 is the flare gun, and it's another item which, when you use it, it shoots a bright flare up into the sky, as you might imagine. And after a moment, if your ship is docked, your quartermaster will shoot a response flare, which you can see through fog, and it's quite bright. So this was intended to be used to locate your ship in, say, fog or the night or the dark sea, although it sucks at that. The range is very limited. I did some testing, it's like 500, but that might vary heavily on your graphics settings and render distance. But generally, if you can see the flare, you can probably also see the 50-meter tall brig and its huge name and clan logo. So while the flare does bleed through fog, it only is visible for as far as it renders, so it's not very useful for locating your ship. Though what it is incredibly useful for is it aggroes enemies in a huge radius. So you can aggro massive groups like a tower. So when I was testing the range, I aggroed a bunch of pirates from like several hundred meters over and a sperm whale. So I went to test it on the tower and they all just came to me and I just cleared it without even entering the second floor. So it could be useful for that if you can manage all the attention you attract. In the end, I think for the first few levels of the research system, it's fine. The Raven is broken, The others are laughably useless, and I think this could easily be remedied. Maybe not easily, and it's easy for me to speak. It's so easy for code into Roblox, but you can give the useless items a few other purposes because they feel quite unfinished as they are. There is no situation I feel where I need to deploy the rowboat or use the flare. So the rowboat system is a really cool idea, conceptually. I could see it used to board enemy ships or to fight sea monsters with their crew. So my idea of a sort of revamp, while maintaining its current use, is that you could use a ship command to dispatch all 4 of your deckhands to captain a rowboat, where they'll bring along 2 crewmates. And the deckhand AI, it becomes like an AI ship, and they will help you fight sea monsters, which can be useful for like the Kraken or like a White Eyes or something. It doesn't have to be busted since it's the first item you get, but it could do with some functionality, and I feel like that's fairly thematic and also quite useful. And for the flare gun, I think it should be used to remotely give commands to your ship. It would be cool if you could get a prompt for a command, which each command would shoot up a differently colored flare, while still maintaining that functionality of the locating system. I also think the location flare should put a marker where your ship is, much like you can like on the map, which can be seen through weather, long distances, the dark sea. It's just universally applicable. It's more useful than just visually relying on the flare itself. And the command system would let you summon your ship from afar once they fix that command. And this would give you a little more independence, like say out in the dark sea, where you can go farther and not worry about losing your ship. So that's all. Let me know what y'all think.